Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another video of DIY investing. I honestly can't remember a time where I was actually this excited to share with you guys some analysis over the markets. Today we're going to be diving into the two best performing altcoins in all of the history of cryptocurrency, XRP and Ethereum. These are the two cryptocurrencies that are going to give us the best understanding as to what the rest of the market is going to do, because these are the coins that lead the rest of the market. These are the best performing altcoins over the last 6 years and running, and I highly expect this pattern to continue to play out. Today we're actually going to be diving in and I'm going to be sharing with you guys a couple amazing fractals that show exactly where XRP and Ethereum are headed in the short term, as well as what we can expect as far as price targets further down the line. The people that are investing into these two cryptocurrencies are setting themselves up to make so much money that it's insane. These are the two biggest positions that I have inside of the cryptocurrency market, and so I'm very excited to share with you guys this analysis. Make sure you stay all the way to the end so you don't miss out on any of the exciting fractals that I'm about to share with you between gold and Bitcoin. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do myself a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click that notification bell too so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. If you guys are looking to join an amazing community, I have a Discord server with over 4,000 members and growing very fast. So if you guys want to actually congregate with some more people inside of the cryptocurrency community that are always actively engaging and talking about crypto, I highly recommend that you guys check out my server. It's totally free to join. With my Discord server, I also offer some of my more exclusive content like my video course and signals. The video course is 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of crypto. So if you guys want to actually learn how to be a profitable cryptocurrency trader and analyst and do all of your own charts, I highly recommend that you guys check that out. Now, the signals are actually a way for you guys to copy all of my long-term trades and investments that I'm taking inside of the cryptocurrency market, along with entries and exits, so you guys know exactly what I'm going to be taking, when I'm going to be taking it, and how I'm going to be scaling out, along with what percentage of each. So if this is something that interests you guys, I highly recommend that you guys join the Discord server. Once you guys actually join, make sure you guys hit me up and I will get back to you on the server as soon as possible. The only way to join is to click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link. With all that being said, I don't want to keep talking too much because there's a lot of really exciting things and I'm going to blow your mind. So let's jump right in this video today. So for today's video, I wanted to go over a couple market cycle fractals because I see a ton of fear inside of the market. A couple days ago, I actually made a vlog update so I could help connect more personally with you guys on a more intrapersonal level, because I felt like it was a really important time that everybody is holding their bags and is not getting shaken out, because I see this as the biggest shakeout in history. I think that all of this pandemic noise that we're hearing is more or less just this big illusion that is more or less just causing fear inside of the market. And so I wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page together with my two favorite cryptocurrency investments. Now, you guys obviously know I've been updating you guys for a significant portion of time with XRP and Ethereum because I've been very confident in the longevity of these cryptos. These are the two best performing altcoins and have the most consistent track record over the last 6 years in running. And so today we're going to be going over and I'm going to be comparing Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we're going to be taking a look at gold and XRP, because I think that there's a lot of really important things that are going to blow your mind. So stay to the end of this so you don't miss out on any of this exciting stuff. Now, the three rules that we're going to go through today are: number one, market structure; number two, time frames; and number three, future projection. I wanted to go through and analyze the market structure of Bitcoin, talk about the time frames of the last Bitcoin cycle, and then I wanted to kind of show the future projection and compare it to Ethereum. So let's go through here and actually analyze what I'm talking about. Now, what I've been noticing is that Ethereum and the early Bitcoin cycle from 2014 to 2016, well, to 2018 technically, are following each other very, very closely. And this is kind of what's to be expected because Ethereum has been the second biggest returning crypto investment besides Bitcoin. And so it would make sense that they would follow each other. Everybody knows that all of the other altcoins follow Bitcoin. And so it would make sense that all of these older altcoins that have been around for a little while are going to mimic this last Bitcoin cycle. Now, let's go through here and analyze some things. Basically, I'm going to go through and use these little boxes to point out exactly where we are in this cycle. So we have the top of the cycle. We get a quick impulse on the downside. We find some short-term support here before we get our first relief rally. This is really our first big bounce on the upside. and then we get rejected once again, and then we fall back down to our next support level. Now, what I'm going to go through here and analyze is just how correlated the two cycles are. So really, let's go through here and analyze based off of numbers so we can keep track as far as where we are in each cycle. So this would have been number 1, this would have been 2, this would have been 3, and this was 4, and then this kind of takes us to that next phase. Now basically what happens is after 4 we get another short-term bounce, another lower high in this short-term trend, and then what happens is we get a really strong bearish impulse, 1, 3, and 5 impulse waves back down, and this takes us to the very bottom of capitulation, right? Now what happens shortly after Bitcoin is we consolidated sideways for about 280 days, so almost a full year Bitcoin consolidated sideways before breaking up and then starting that next massive bull run. Now what's really interesting to me is just how correlated Bitcoin and Ethereum actually are. Now this takes us to the Ethereum chart. Let's go through and actually analyze some of the similarities between the two cycles so we can kind of see where we're at inside of Ethereum today. Now obviously rule number 1 is market structure, so we need to point out all of the similarities in structure. So basically, like Bitcoin, we get the top of the cycle, we make a short-term drop back down, we find some short-term support here, we make a bounce. This is our first major relief rally and that lower high. We fall back down again, find another short-term support. We come second relief rally and the second lower high really. And then we make our 5 impulse waves down into capitulation. And this is very, very similar to what we're seeing inside of Bitcoin today. Even the sideways accumulation in Ethereum is very, very similar to what we saw in the back of Bitcoin's last cycle. These two cycles are very close together, and we can see the similarities here. So if we go through here, we can see that each step follows pretty closely to the Bitcoin cycle. We have the number 1, which is the cycle high. We make 5 impulse waves down. This is our first support. This takes us to number 2. Make a lower high, get rejected. That takes us to 3. Fall to new lows, find another short-term support. This is 4. Another lower high, relief rally, 5. We reject, and then we fall into 5 impulse waves, just like Bitcoin. Number 1 is the cycle high, 5 impulse waves down, takes us to our first short-term support. This is 2. We bounce, get rejected, first lower high, 3. Down to 4. This is another support level, short-term relief rally into the 5. We get rejected again, and then we get our 5 impulse waves back down. Now, just like the Ethereum cycle, Bitcoin and Ethereum both accumulated sideways for quite a significant portion of time. Now, this takes us to the second part that I want to analyze here in this chart, which is time frames. And I think that this is one of the most underlooked aspects of cryptocurrency analysis that we have, because for whatever reason, I don't see a lot of other people talking about this, but the cycles line up almost identically as far as time frames too. So not only is price structure very similar, but the time frames in which all of them coexist are very close as well. So let's go through here and actually analyze them. So in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrencies, the new year is the reversal point. I've consistently updating you guys with this because I think it's important that we talk about. Now, with Bitcoin, Bitcoin actually stops out in about November. That's the cycle high of Bitcoin. We make our first lower high, and then the top of that lower high is around that new year before we actually go for another year of downtrending markets. And we can see that right here. A year from that point takes us to almost the exact bottom of this capitulation. Then a year from that point takes us to really our first higher high in the new bull trend, and then a year from that point takes us to the all-time high and the breakout of that all-time high. And this is the way that the Bitcoin cycles seems to have worked thus far, and this was how the last one worked in 2015. Now obviously we know what happened after 2017. That's where we get a year-long bull market where everything just goes into price discovery, and it was a very, very profitable time for crypto. Now let's go through here and actually analyze those same time frames and see if they line up inside of Bitcoin, because I have a feeling they will. Now January 1st takes us to almost the top of the cycle. We still had a couple days of uptrending inside of Ethereum, and so that takes us to our new year, almost the exact cycle high. Now a year from that point, what happened in Bitcoin was that took us to the exact bottom of capitulation, which in Ethereum, once again, a year later is almost the exact bottom of the bear trend. Now, a year from that point in Bitcoin actually took us to our first higher high and the start of that new bull trend, whereas this is where it's going to get a little bit different, but I think that the similarities are still very, very similar. Now, in Bitcoin, From year 2 to year 3, we go from the bottom of capitulation to our first higher high. In Ethereum, year 2 to year 3, we get still the same market structure, but it's a little bit different this time. Just like in Bitcoin, year 2 is the bottom of capitulation. A year from that point is a higher high. Now, Ethereum itself has made a higher high, because we got to remember that Ethereum bottomed at about $80 in 2018, and we have failed to break lower than that level. And we've had a couple attempts to break lower here at the first of the new year, and then just recently we tried to break lower, but we failed to break below this support level, which means this is a higher high. Even if it hasn't quite maintained the same uptrend with Bitcoin, where we made our first higher high and it was a very, very clear uptrend, Ethereum is still maintaining a higher high, and it still is bullish market structure. And that's why I don't think we need to be shaken out by what's taking place. My last video I posted on YouTube got a ton of hate. The most hate I've ever had a YouTube video get, and it's because I was bullish. And that is often what happens when the rest of the market is bearish. When the market is about to reverse, you're going to have the biggest influx of people that are going to be bearish. So since the market's downtrending so far, we have a lot of bearish people down here because the market is down. Whereas this is a great opportunity to be buying, and people are squandering that, thinking that we're headed for new lows, only the new lows never come, and then we blast off into new all-time highs instead. So this is the thing that's happening inside of Ethereum today. Now, if we go back and look at Bitcoin, from year 3 was our first higher high, and then year 4 takes us to the all-time high and the breakout of that all-time high. And so year 4 in Ethereum takes us to 2021, which would be right about here. Now, for me personally, kind of what I'm expecting to see is I'm expecting a complete reversal of this trend. Since we failed to break and make a lower low, I don't think that we're going to get it. I think that if Bitcoin was going to break and go to new lows, it would have been done in this most recent correction. But Bitcoin is showing strength in the wake of all of the rest of the markets going down. And that's something that we need to pay attention for. Bitcoin is showing strength while the rest of the market is going down. Now, this takes me to the next part. And this takes us to number 3, which is future projection. What is the future projection of Ethereum? Let's go through here and actually take the last cycle and let's flip it real quick and let's talk about some things. Now, remember guys, in the last Bitcoin cycle, at the year 4, we hit the all-time high mark, and this was where we first started breaking out. And then year 5 was the parabolic move into price discovery, right? So these things take time to accumulate. It's not just going to happen instantaneous. It's not just going to immediately start mooning. It's going to take time to accumulate. But what we have happened and what we can see inside of Ethereum is we've had a lot of sideways accumulation with really not much upside moves and rallies. And so what that makes me feel is that we're due for one. And I think that this next impulse is going to happen pretty quickly, and it's going to leave a lot of people left scratching their heads wondering what the heck happened. Everybody was expecting new lows, only those new lows never actually happen. And this is what is going to happen. Guys, I cannot stress to you guys enough that it is not the time to be selling your investments right now, because we've been given a great opportunity to accumulating really cheap. I did not think that we'd get another opportunity at this low, but we did, and everybody else is now selling their positions, waiting to rebuy back lower, and that is just not going to happen. And I'm very confident in saying that. I'm here putting myself out in the open for everybody to kind of just nitpick and judge, because I'm very confident in my analysis moving forward with this next bull cycle. A lot of people aren't like that, but what I can see is we've experienced a major sentiment shift. The people that were bullish the entire way up and this entire way down in this bear market are now bearish after holding their investments for 2 years in a bear market. You know, it never ceases to amaze me just how the emotional psychology will shake all of the weak hands out of the market. And you know, this is what we're seeing inside of Ethereum today. Now, in my opinion, I think this next impulse is going to take us up to really our first lower high, which would be about the top of this 5 over here, which takes us to about $800. And I think that this next impulse will see us very close to that level. Now, if we pull up some Fibonacci here, let's get some exact levels that I would be targeting. From the high to the low, we can see that the 618 takes us to about $900. And so if this was me, I think that we've got a couple options here. Either option 1, we come a little bit premature, stop at about $600, which would be the 382. This would come in just in between the 3 and the 5 and the 4, right about here. Or we could see a little bit longer, more parabolic move, where this next impulse actually takes us to that 618 level, which would be closer to about $900. And this is a scenario that I'm watching for. this next impulse could get very quick, and we could actually impulse all the way up to $900 before we see a short-term correction. But either way, we will see a correction, and I think that it'll drop back down to retest the previous cycle high of resistance, which was about $360, or right about here. And so in Ethereum, this is what I'm going to actually be expecting to watch and see if we play out, because in Bitcoin, it's very similar to what we happened in the last cycle. And so because Ethereum is still following these new year reversal points in the time frames of each year, I still think that we're going to follow this cycle, and 2021 is going to be the biggest year of bull runs, and about the end of 2021 is going to be the cycle high, very similar to what we had in Bitcoin, because we went through these 4-year cycles. Year number 1 was the cycle high, year number 2 was the bottom of the bear market, year number 3 was the first higher high and the start of the new bull trend. Year number 4 is the breakout of the previous cycle high and the all-time high of the last cycle. And then year 5 is the massive bull run. And so we're following this cycle still very, very closely inside of Ethereum. So what that makes me feel is that this next year is going to be pretty uptrend, steady uptrend as we get closer to the all-time high of Ethereum. And then 2021 to 2022 is going to take us to year 5 in the cycle, which is actually going to be the big 2017 blow off top mania phase. Everything's in price discovery, and that's actually where we're going to make the bulk of our money. And so in my opinion, everything up to this point was accumulation. Now we're going to start seeing the uptrend taking us to the all-time high mark. We're going to see higher highs and higher lows on the start of this next bull trend, or the new bull trend. And then at the end of 2020 and the start of 2021, or what I should say, 2021 to 2022, that is going to be the year of the massive bull run in crypto. And that's really what I wanted to tell you guys about. What we're seeing inside of Bitcoin and Ethereum is uncanny. There is an exact structure, an exact similarity and fractal that is playing out, and it really does blow my mind to see just how correlated these two assets are. Ethereum has been the best performing crypto besides Bitcoin. You know, guys, I don't expect that this trend is just randomly going to stop out of nowhere. I highly expect that all of these cryptos are going to continue to actually go up. And so it's very, very important that we're taking note of what is taking place here, and we're not getting shaken out, because to me, the long-term prospect of crypto has never looked more bullish. Yes, we sold off and went for another low. Yes, I was wrong at the new year of 2020 was going to be the reversal. I was wrong. But you know what, guys? The long term still looks just as good as it did when I made those videos at the new year. Really, we've yet to even break support. We didn't make a lower low in Ethereum. We still maintain support above that low from the new year. Some altcoins did make a lower low, but we are still showing strength. Now, this is actually what takes us to the next part of the video, which is comparing the gold fractal and XRP. Because, guys, in my last video that I talked about XRP, I told you how these are very, very, very similar. And I wanted to share with you guys the analysis because I think that there's really nobody talking about this. And I don't know why, because this was actually the exact fractal that I was watching for with Bitcoin when it was at $3,200. And when I noticed this fractal playing out, I immediately went all in with all of the money I had, and that was when Bitcoin was at its very bottom. I made a YouTube video saying that the bottom was in, and it was all based off of this gold fractal. Now, we're going to take XRP, and we're going to overlay it to the gold fractal so I can actually share with you guys just how close these cycles actually are. So we're going to take this, we're going to make it a little bit darker here, we're going to take this, and we're going to copy it, and then we're going to lay it over this chart right here. Now let's go through and actually see kind of how they are correlated. Now this is where we're going to see the correlation here. This is where it starts. XRP went a lot higher and it actually wouldn't fit on the chart with the gold, so I can't share with you the exact cycle high. But basically we get the cycle high and then we fall, and this is our first bounce. We get a bounce here and a bounce here. We bounce, we go for another low. That's our second low right here. Now we get another short-term bounce, and we can see that right here. So we get rejected here and here, but we bounce here and here, right? Same with gold. And now this takes us to the next part, and this is where we kind of round out back onto that trending support. So we made these two lows, and now this is where we actually start to hold support here, and we get this long sideways accumulation that just kind of rounds out. It's the exact same thing that happened inside of XRP back at 30 cents. And then finally, we get one more attempt, and then this is the false breakout, Same here with XRP, false breakout, and then we fall to new lows again, right? This is the exact same fractal between XRP and gold. Not only that, but even Bitcoin in the most recent cycle followed this same fractal. Now, what that makes me feel is if XRP and if Bitcoin are following the gold fractal, then there's obviously a lot of institutional involvement in this market. And even if there isn't a lot of institutional involvement, there's still a lot of people investing. It would not throw up this market cycle fractal if there was not people accumulating it, because you guys got to remember that this is all just the emotional psychology. All of what we're seeing here is translated through the emotional psychology of the average investor in the market. And you know, guys, what we're seeing right now is sentiment shifting. We're seeing a lot of people bearish when everybody was bullish previously. This one lower low got everybody shaken out. I've seen so many haters in my videos. It blows me away because I've never had this much hate on any of my YouTube videos up to this point. I woke up today and saw so many people angry at me, saw so many unsubscribers. I had my first negative day in subscribers, so it was just a really crazy time because I'm seeing the sentiment shifting everywhere. I'm not scared in the slightest because I can see the emotional psychology just playing out. I've been a long-term investor in this. I've made my due diligence by studying how to actually analyze these charts, and now we're starting to see all of the signs that we wanted with capitulation. You know, if Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to be this correlated, then there's no reason to suspect that if Ethereum hit $1,400 in the cycle high and Bitcoin hit $1,200 in the cycle high, Bitcoin in the last cycle went all the way to $20,000. Why is it so crazy to think that Ethereum can't do the same? 5, 10, 15, 20, these are the places I'm going to be taking profits, and a lot of people think I'm crazy, but couple years down the line, you guys will be rewatching these YouTube videos and you're just going to be sitting back thinking, oh man, I should have went all in with everything I had like that guy did. I've seen the way these cycles work. I could be completely wrong about all of this analysis, but at the end of the day, I've invested 100% of my life into cryptocurrency. I've went all in. All of the extra cash that I get, I invest into cryptos. I'm never lying about any of that. Even with this most recent drop, I didn't sell anything. I held, and I actually, with what little bits of cash I had, I bought more. That's the difference between the profitability, or that's the difference between the profitable and the unprofitable, is the profitable are willing to take calculated risks. This is a big risk, obviously. Nobody will ever tell you, any good investor will tell you not to go all in, but for me, this is a great opportunity that I'm just not probably going to find too many more times throughout my life. You just don't see 30x returns in a cryptocurrency, in any market for that matter, but you do with cryptocurrency. And so I'm going to continue to invest. I'm going to ignore all of the FUD that I'm hearing right now. I'm going to ignore all of the negative people in my comments, and I'm going to continue to buy this dip because I strongly believe that we are destined for a massive bull run that's going to make us all filthy rich. So don't sell your bags, maintain that positive uptrend, maintain that long-term bias, and you guys will be fine. Anyways, this was the video I had for you. If you found any value in this, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click in the description of this video to join my Discord server. I also offer my more exclusive content like my video course and signals on there. So if you want to learn how to be a profitable analyst like me, I highly recommend that you guys check that out. With all that being said, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.